We're talking Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers, released in 1988, with the tagline, "When you go camping, just take the essentials." I think that tagline only makes sense if you see the poster, because it shows a girl with a Freddy glove and hockey mask on her backpack. The budget was $456,000. We weren't able to find anything on the actual box office itself.
I'm fairly certain it was direct to video.
Maybe, perhaps.
Could be.
Could have been the movies.
So we are not at Camp Arawak this time. We are at Camp Rolling Hills. And did you all notice that there were at least like 3 dudes with mullets in the scene?
Yeah, the one
It was 1988. Let's be reasonable
like
here.
1980s Dave Meltzer was in the movie.
Glorious mullets.
Yeah, that one dude definitely looked like Dave Meltzer.
I kind of want to grow a mullet now. So a girl named Phoebe, who is not singing about smelly cats, brings up the events of the first film at Camp Arawak. She lists all the killings, like the bees, the hatchetings of the kids, the shower stabbing, the arrow in the neck, etc., etc.
The cook.
They definitely want people to know that this is Sleepaway Camp sequel. So, a mysterious female counselor emerges from the woods, and
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this lady comes out of the woods and tells Phoebe, who's sitting around with all the guys.
Smelly cat.
And she tells her she has to go, and it's like this female counselor. She just yells at her.
So Phoebe leaves, and a guy named Sean, reveals his dad was a cop and actually helped arrest Angela after the end of the first. He said she got a sex change, was released from the mental hospital a few years ago. Thanks, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, it's right. It's also worth mentioning the girl when counselor yelled at Phoebe. Phoebe started like finishing the story, saying that talking about how they found Angela on the beach naked, and then they found out she was a boy, and she mentioned how the aunt dressed her up as a girl.
Do they arrest the
just before
aunt?
she?
Well, I like that the other bit there where they were very certain to make sure. Oh no, it's not a boy because they gave her a whole sex change.
Yeah.
Like
They waste no time revealing that the female counselor who yelled at Phoebe is actually Angela. They both argue, and Angela calls her a slut. Phoebe walks away. Angela whacks in their head with a log and kills her. And then Angela cut out Phoebe's tongue.
And then a cool rock song comes on.
So to rephrase, Phoebe got lost after her argument with Angela, and then Angela appears behind her and whacks her in the head with a log, and her face is all bloodied, and then she reprimands her for telling evil stories, and she like cuts this girl's tongue out, like, just straight up cuts it out, and she's like mad at her. It's the tone of this movie it's like a stark difference from the serious,
oh my god,
dark
yeah.
tone of the first movie.
Yes, I have thoughts on this that I'll get into later
Oh, yeah.
when we're
Oh yeah.
This
kind of done with the rundown. But yes,
this was a hot opener.
it's noticeable. I mean, you can tell right off the bat, because I mean, this is still opening scene of the movie, really, that this is gonna be a different movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
yeah.
basically a total 80s Brat Pack. And you have one girl who likes to sleep naked and fuck a lot named Allie. Mare flashes her boobs. You have
Not
Molly.
Mary, by the way. She's
Right.
definitely not Mary. She will correct you.
You know, when I saw the movie for the first time, I jotted that down in my head. It's Mare, not Mary.
And Angela disapproves of Allie sleeping naked, and of course Mare flashing her boobs throughout the movie.
She had nice titties.
Yes, she is definitely. Angela is a real prude, and it just comes out more and more during the film.
So then we have the nice girl Molly, who, okay, let's face it, she's going to be the heroine. That's how it always works. And then
The final girl.
there's the two sisters that smoke pot and drink, named the Shote sisters. The campers refer to them as the Shit sisters. And of course, then there's like a few other girls that are just so uninteresting. They're just slasher fodder. And
They're
Pretty much the same
just to
goes.
die.
The yeah, the same goes for like 90% of the male cast.
Tit Patrol.
I mean, they're just
Sure.
except Sean. He's interesting.
Well,
but
TC
nobody else.
is TC is interesting because he's kind of like the
right,
head camper or counselor rather.
and he's just like a dick, or kind of a slime ball.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Dave Meltzer? Was he
Yeah.
the one with the Dave? Okay, cool.
So before we go any further, I think it's important to talk about Angela in this film and compare and contrast between her and the first Angela. And I will start by saying this is definitely not who we knew from the first in terms of Angela.
Correct.
If anything, it's hard to buy that it is the same person.
Yeah. I can't. I don't get that from her personality wise.
get-
But the other thing is she looks nothing
she's
like Angela from the first.
Well, and they kind of explain that away as like, oh, you know, she had problems back when she was younger, but she's cured now. So
Right.
She got a sex change.
She might have also
and
gotten
counseling.
plastic surgery. Yeah.
very
There
possible.
could be plastic surgery in there too. Right.
So I don't know if this is necessarily the perfect time to reveal this one, but so obviously no, we're not talking about Felissa Rose. This is actually crap. I can't remember her first name, but it's Bruce Springsteen's fucking sister.
yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Born in the USA.
Pamela Springs.
Pamela.
She is now a photographer for celebrities. She takes like professional pictures of celebs.
Yeah.
Tidbit. So like one of the differences too is that this is no longer a whodunit. We see her killing people. There's no tension at all. It's super campy. She's making one-liners, wisecrackings,
Yeah.
and the killings themselves seem like really casual. It's just there's no music. Pretty much in all the killings, there's no music. It's different. It's not bad though. It's still
Yeah,
entertaining.
it's just Angela just handling her business.
right.
It's it's just very straightforward. Well, got to do this now.
And it's not for revenge at all. It's we should establish why she kills in this movie. She does it because these kids are breaking rules. So basically,
Yeah,
she's
they're
reading
just
off of.
bad
yeah.
kids.
So she's lawful
Right.
evil, right?
I don't know about lawful.
I mean, they're breaking the rules, right?
Well, yeah, and like they're breaking like every rule in the slasher handbook. These kids like being naked, having sex, smoking pot, drinking,
Yeah.
being the practical joker.
Drinking
Practical joker must die.
Yes.
So where are we? The next morning, Angela.
Yeah. So
What's after
so basically, what happens the next morning? Angela explains that she sent Phoebe home, and this is an ongoing theme in the movie because obviously she has to cover up her killings, so she has to send girls home. So we get some
I sent him home.
really lame attempts at character development, and we're singing this awful camping song, but I'd like to say personally this made me yearn, like I wanted to go back in time and become like a camp counselor.
You do a good one.
Jeez. I like the last part. I'll camp until I die.
It's fitting.
Well, there's, I'm sure it was written specifically for the movie.
So
It's a
the other
real
thing is-
song out there.
I just wanted
Not
to
a
say,
chance.
in another
go ahead.
use of being lawful evil, Angela disapproves Sean getting tripped while everybody laughs. Maybe it
think it's-
triggers her
yeah.
bullying senses.
Yeah. And she
Right.
just won the award for being like counselor of the week.
Yep, slammy.
Stole her fire. Yeah.
Smack of the week. So as Angela stalks through the forest, she finds the shit sisters getting high and drinking, and as they pass out, Angela ties them up, and one sister wakes up to find the other burned to a charred skeleton, and then says, "Say no to drugs," and lights her on fire as well.
Apparently, that was pretty cruel. Apparently,
Well,
though.
No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
Well,
you
I was
go
just
ahead.
gonna say that I
Oh,
thought, I was just gonna say that I felt like I mean, it was such like the barbecue scene was. I hate to say it was a missed opportunity. I felt like they could have done so much more with it.
I mean, you didn't really. They just show like a little bit of the fire. They don't show anything like thrashing around. And also, the skeleton of the sister is like, it's like literally a black charred skeleton, which would have to be burning for like 2 days to get to that.
Well, okay, I'm gonna just dip into my neuroses for just a second, but what I was expecting to see, like when they started off, and I was like, is that a grill? I was thinking they were gonna have her like strapped down to the grill, and the grill be like on.
She gets
as she wakes up.
She gets sodomized
Like
with the fire.
Wow,
Yeah.
Wow, Logan or
What?
Nick? Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
Logan.
Logan. That was Nick.
Yeah.
That was all Nick. But like I expected that she was gonna wake up while cooking on the barbecue.
That does defeat the purpose of. They don't even use the barbecue. That's right.
No, I mean
thought of
they
that.
just light her on fire on the barbecue. Like they don't even light the grill.
Yeah.
So
It's like gas or kerosene, whatever.
I don't know. Sorry. Again, that's maybe
No,
me
that's-
just
that's-
being neurotic, but
That's great.
it's what I would have done.
It's like that's a great point. What happened? I think after this is when they do the panty raid, and then that pisses off Angela, so she yells at the girls.
I don't
Or
think
at the
planned
guys,
that.
I
Like,
guess.
they're like, yeah, if we stay up till 3 a.m., she won't notice.
Yeah. They do the panty raid, and then the girls decide they're going to get the guys back by raiding their jock straps, I guess.
That was
Yeah, which
weird.
like I don't know how that works because like do any of you guys own jock straps? Like
Oh.
why? I guess maybe because there's maybe like a baseball game or something that might happen. Like I don't know.
I had to wear one, but there's a whole story behind it,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
it involves surgery. So, but that's a whole different thing. Like I just didn't
Whoa,
choose to
whoa,
wear
whoa,
it.
Logan! You cannot bury the lead like that.
When Angela's yelling at the girls, she says, "I don't like being the Wicked Witch of the West," which is a
Sure.
line from the first movie.
I didn't notice.
Huh?
Paul calls Meg. He says, "Here comes the Wicked Witch of the West."
Langoliers.
Yeah, the guy from Langoliers, absolutely. In that scene where Angela's sitting on the, I think it's right before she gets thrown in the water, but the Langoliers guy's talking to her, and he sees Meg walking up and says, "Well, there's the Wicked Witch of the West." So I feel like Angela's referencing that, maybe.
Very possible. Yeah. I
It's just
mean,
like a nod,
oh sure.
I think it's worth noting that Angela, for some of the death scenes, like the one coming up, she acts very strangely when killing people. For example, with Mare, right? And Angela drilling her in the face.
Right?
Angela is
You grabbing a
hilariously
gun?
Why did she kill? Yeah, why did she kill Mare? It was like
because she
I
flashes her
after
tits.
drop raid.
Well, no, it's
Yeah.
because she refused to apologize for something.
Right. She didn't want to apologize for flashing her boobs, so Angela reaches back behind a seat in the car, and then the girl's Mare says, "What are you getting, a gun?" And Angela just says, "No, a drill," and just starts drilling her, and then she starts trying to move her face away from the blood. It's as if it's annoying her.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
like,
exactly. I loved that too.
Oh, it's
Isn't she
hilarious.
also trying to convince her to come back to the camp because she wants to go home?
She was giving her a chance.
All
She
had to do
liked
was just
she
agree,
could have
and then she'd died
apologized.
later.
She
Just
saw
not now.
potential. She saw potential in Mare.
She could have been the next Angela.
What?
So they're doing a guess what it is gross out game. Angela's dick is not involved.
Aw.
So they touch something like some olives and they say it's eyeballs, and Angela says dead teenager brains, and then the lady asks what's real, and Angela again answers in comically deadpan fashion, dead teenager brains.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
She's
we
like,
learn that these two kids are making Freddy and Jason costumes to scare Angela. The Freddy Krueger kid is using real blades on the glove, like in the real movie.
Yeah, and
I didn't feel this movie was really worth nitpicking. And by that, I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It's just like it clearly didn't take itself that seriously.
not at all. No.
So,
why
I
I think-
mean, yeah.
That's why I think that's the biggest flaw of the first, is it takes itself too seriously.
Yeah.
And it's laughable because of it, like for the wrong reasons. This movie is actually it's intentionally funny.
Sure.
Well, but I'm disappointed that I can't guess who's killing who.
I
Like you
agree with
didn't
that,
you didn't
yeah.
know until the end of the movie that it was Angela. But then you also had that random kid that wasn't even Angela.
So it kind of just gives like that, Michael Myers type thing where you just know who it is.
Right.
Yeah, but like well, this may be something we should better reserve for the end, but
Okay, yeah.
but yeah, we definitely need to get back to that.
Absolutely. Forgot to mention earlier, like one of the other characters is the Tit Patrol, which is these two these two 12-year-old kids that take pictures of naked women like through the window. And what happens here, like Angela catches them with the pictures, but then there's a picture of her in the pile. And she doesn't seem to care looking at all the other ones, and then she gets pissed when she sees herself in the pictures, and then she threatens to go tell the camp owner. And
Yeah, it was about the time that the Tit Patrol was introduced that I realized exactly what this movie was. Because, like, I mean, there was a point where you were like, okay, this movie is gonna take itself seriously. Maybe a little bit, right? But, yeah, and then it's like, okay, the Tit Patrol, well, this is the movie we're watching.
yeah, so like so these mock Freddy and Jason, they start their I don't know, their campaign or crusade to scare Angela. What are these kids, these kids dressing up as, these major horror icons, expect to actually happen? Like, I mean, what are they gonna jump out at Angela and just, oh, you scared me?
Right.
Like,
Right, I think that it was, well, a feeble attempt to scare them, really. I mean, obviously you're only going to get so much scare out of, like, I don't know, two major motion picture characters. It's like, ooh, hi. It's like, oh, Michael Myers. Or
I'd be like,
the Scream
"Nah,
guy.
oh, you scared the shit out of
You
me.
know.
Nice costume. She takes care of Freddy Krueger first, and she slashes his throat with his own glove, and then suddenly dressed as Leatherface, she
Right.
cuts the guy. She cuts up the Jason guy with a chainsaw.
That was
like,
quite the swerve.
that was great.
You know what though? To me, I didn't feel like it was a swerve because it's just like, well, we're just gonna go ahead and turn right into this. Why not Leatherface? Like, if there was any,
yeah.
why not Michael Myers? Why in the hell was there no Michael Myers in this movie? That's what I'd like to know.
I guess it was better to have chainsaw. Like, you have the finger gloves, the machete, and then the chainsaw. Whereas
Sure,
Michael's
yeah,
always,
that's right.
always like
Yeah.
a butcher. So, what I love is how Angela has knowledge of these horror movies. I wonder if
Right.
she watches them herself. She could.
That's the thing about this movie that is so weird. It's almost, again, it's like it's almost aware of the pop culture,
Yeah.
which is just
And it's
I-
outside of the canon universe of Friday the 13th and Freddy
right.
and Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh crap! Holy
Um,
crap! It's like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, where they're watching Halloween in the movie.
Exactly, yeah. Maybe this is in the canon universe of Halloween 3.
Fuck.
Um,
We've done it.
Oh, you might be right.
Another question I have is that I think I'm wondering is, do you think the mask like Angela was wearing was also like real skin too?
I don't know. Where would she have gotten it from? Like,
Maybe Mare.
maybe. Although, I don't know. I guess, and we'd have to jump ahead, but we'd really have to look into the cabin later.
Right.
and
I
maybe
totally
just get a
know,
head count,
yeah.
literally.
Exactly. I totally know now. Okay, I got it. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So remember, Angela Leatherface mask, real skin
On
or
it.
not?
Okay.
You got that down, Logan?
Yeah.
Good. Oh, okay. So then after this massacre,
Stop
we
it.
are.
Cat.
God damn it.
Okay.
Logan, you gotta get your cats out of the room when we're recording.
So we're treated to the most awkward sex scene inside a bathroom between Allie and then this guy named Rob, and it looks like he's just making out with her belly button.
Right?
That was weird.
Like, do you know the anatomy of a woman? Like, what is going on here? But I guess she was into it. Maybe she's got like a second vagina. I don't know. Like,
It was weird because at first you think he's going down on her and it's just her belly button.
but he's not going down far enough.
No.
Isn't she still wearing her jeans, or she's got
Yeah,
her
she
underwear
has
on?
her jeans
Something.
Wait, hold on. Time. I didn't notice that part. I thought she was.
I think she's in her underwear. She's still wearing her like bottom.
Okay.
underwear.
Because doesn't she have? It's like doesn't it take her like the full minute to get her pants off?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because she's like being dragged across the bathroom.
Yeah, and
'Cause all you see
that
is
was
his
awkward
legs
as hell. Yeah.
and her jeans. Well, that'll be interesting.
so okay, so while they're attempting to do something
Sex.
that looks
They're
oddly
attempting the
sexual.
sex.
Yeah, you're right, and I guess that's what it is. And Angela asks what she's doing because the door is locked, and she's still wearing her Leatherface stuff except for the mask. And Allie says she's got cramps, although it sounds like she said crabs. I thought, but it looks like she almost tries to turn on the chainsaw to cut through, but then it doesn't turn on.
You know, that's
Yeah.
sidebar. Like, chainsaw noises travel. Like,
Yeah.
how did this kind of go unnoticed?
Right. Even when she was trying to start it, and then like earlier when she killed killed
Sure.
Jason and Freddy too, they would have heard that. Definitely.
I mean, man, let's not get a list of the things that are wrong with this movie.
Right. Yeah. So, oh gosh. So the next day, I think that's when they actually have sex. Rob and Allie in the forest, and then later on, Allie she insults Molly, the nice girl, out of jealousy because Sean likes her, and she tells Angela. So Angela stabs. She lures Allie out into the woods at this abandoned cabin, and then she just stabs Allie in the back twice after confronting her, and then she pushes her into an outhouse with shit, piss, and leeches and drowns her. It's
This
the
one-
worst.
This
Yeah.
disturbed me a little.
I think this
Well,
was my favorite death
yeah.
scene in the movie.
Oh. I'd say it was the best one,
Mine
but
too.
it was definitely the most disturbing.
Because I just thought about being in that situation myself, and that would really suck.
The part of this that really got me, though, and I'm sorry, I know I kind of just cut you off, Logan, was the
that's all right.
gurgling. The fucking gurgling.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What was funny about that is when her head's comes intermittently out of the water, they're still playing the gurgling sound.
She's got the leeches on her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was probably the worst thing.
Ugh.
And the other thing is that's the one scene that's actually sort of dark. It's like a break from the campiness for the rest of the killings.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
It was. Yeah. Yeah.
Dare I say
This
this
is
was picked up shortly after this? This was the beginning of.
Business
you-
picked up.
when you
Beating
started
like a government mule.
deserved killing. I'll say that. There's no humor in it or anything.
No, it's a pretty serious death actually.
So
Except for the
Yeah.
gurgling. The weird gurgling part didn't line
Yeah,
up.
the gurgling totally took it back into campy mode for me.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What's it smell
So,
like?
would you say that Sleepaway Camp 2 is very campy?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it pulled it off in a good way. But I also think that we should just wait till the end before we discuss it.
Yeah. We got there's yes.
I was making a pun, but okay.
Oh.
We all are aware of your pun, Nick.
Okay.
So, like,
But you gotta watch me. I might jump straight to the
I
conclusion.
just decided to take the question seriously. um, so that night, I think it must be, there's this girl named Demi who starts getting suspicious about all the girls sent home, and she asks Angela about it, and she said that how she called these girls' homes and their parents said she's still there. So Angela's like walking around as this girl's just blabbering. Angela's walking around the dorm or the cabin,
I love
trying
this.
trying to test
figure out
different
what to
ways.
kill her
Yeah.
with. Like when she picks
Yeah.
up the radio. I loved that scene so much. It's just like, well, no, the radio might not work.
Was anybody else just like telling the girl just shut up because she just kept
Oh, no.
like, going on?
Oh no, because
really
I think it definitely helped like set the tone for that scene even better. Because you just
It
sort of
did.
wanted her to die at that point, you know.
And she just wouldn't shut up.
I found that death of that particular character more deserving than Allie, just for that scene alone.
Oh sure.
Because it was
Overall,
so-
though, like then she settled on the guitar string, and I kind of found that unsatisfying after
True.
all of the searching. But
and then right after that, here's what makes no sense to me at all. Right after that, the tattletale girl walks in, and Angela pulls out a knife from her pocket and stabs her. So she had a
Twist
knife
it.
the whole time. Yeah, she twists right. She had a knife the whole time on her that she could have just killed Demi with, and that would have been a better death, I think. So that's just another one of the many kind of plot holes that we could spend another hour on. So after Demi and Leah are killed, we have only Molly left in the cabin with Angela as and she expresses she's a little disturbed that they were just all sent home.
Oh, my friends are gone.
Then and then the most boring, pointless scene in the entire movie comes up when Angela goes to sleep, and it's just like the most obvious display of filler in this dream sequence that just simply shows a bunch of death scenes that happened prior in the movie.
So, this is where I thought that maybe the movie was going to take a turn. And it was going to be like, oh, this is all just in Angela's head. All of these other camp counselors are still alive. And I think that kind of would have been a really interesting place to go with it. But no, that was not this movie.
Yeah, it was just filler. Like, I got up and got a drink because I've seen this movie, so I knew that was coming. I went up, I got a drink, I got some macadamia nuts and almonds, and then I sat back down.
Yeah, I will say I thought a swerve was
That's
coming
fine.
here, and nothing came.
Yeah, it's
The underwhelming part of the movie.
definitely. It was also weird that she, it was like a nightmare. She woke up startled. So I'm wondering, I'm probably looking too deep into it, but does that mean maybe she's conflicted with herself and the killing?
I
Why
don't
else
know.
would she
We'll
be
have to-
disturbed?
We'll have
by
to
it?
find out with Sleepaway
I don't-
Camp 3.
Next week.
We won't.
It's gonna be a double feature with Langoliers and Sleepaway Camp 3,
Oh.
and the Bruce Willis version of Jack Frost.
It's gonna
And the
be.
Ginger Dead Man.
You mean Michael Keaton? You mean Michael Keaton?
It's
When
gonna
did I
be
say
a
Bruce Willis?
It's gonna be
Yes.
a 5-hour show.
Huh.
It's gonna be like the WrestleMania of our podcast.
No. No union breaks either.
Yes. Why? Did you just say it's going to be the WrestleMania of our podcast?
Yeah,
Because
it's
it'll
gonna
be
be like
7
8
hours long.
We gotta have a pre-show too,
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Jeez.
featuring the Blair Witch Project.
I still kind of want to watch that with you guys. But anyway,
Yeah. I think we should review that.
Blair Witch?
Maybe.
We'll talk about it later.
Never mind. All right.
Yeah. So,
Wait, Blair Witch or Jack Frost? Anyway, forget it. Don't worry. Go on.
Michael Keaton, Jack Frost.
Oh yeah,
All of the
Oh.
Jack Frosts.
it's two, right? Oh, dude, I would totally love to have the horror Jack Frost. I would be
Oh,
totally.
Oh
down
yeah,
for
we're definitely gonna maybe like
that. Christmas. I
set
guess.
that one aside for Christmas season next year. Or sorry, this year. Jesus.
Or
Okay.
your birthday next year.
Right.
Or we don't see Camp 3 for your birthday next year.
Um, so we are. Let's see, that horrible dream. And her ruse worked. for the longest. I mean, they still think she sent them home. So, I mean, she convinced them that much, but she got fired. She at the abandoned cabin near where she killed Allie. Molly and Sean go to make her feel better, cheer her up, and Angela just straight up admits that TC, the dickhead counselor, the mullet guy, reminds her of a bully that she drowned when she was a teenager.
So is that the one where she drowned the guy under the canoe?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, I think they actually specifically mentioned that.
It must be. It's also worth mentioning, I think she did it earlier, but like at least 2 times she quotes Aunt Martha in this movie, but she just says my aunt. But and
But
she
it
says
was
2
quotes
things
that was not in the movie, correct?
right. Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
weren't from the first movie. It was just
Oh.
stuff her aunt said.
Exactly. Yeah. Sean, then as Angela's talking to Molly, Sean discovers that the cabin, the abandoned cabin, is actually full of all the dead bodies.
So why did they suggest that this is where they were gonna find Angela? What was the rationale for that? It was just her favorite place to go or something? What was this all about? There was some sort of connection that she had to it.
There was a scene earlier where Molly talked to her there, so she knew.
Just on the outside, right? Okay.
Or Angela had told her that she likes to come up there and think. So I guess Molly just knew she was there.
Got it. Okay, right. Okay.
So yeah, Sean discovers the bodies. Angela hits him with a stick, and she takes Molly and him hostage. And then TC comes to look for them, and Angela throws acid on his face. She's brutal in this movie. This movie is super violent and gory. I just wanted to
Yeah.
say that. It really is. Yeah, the effects are great, I think.
I'd say the practical effects are not necessarily like on the level of like a bigger budget horror film, but they did a reasonably good job.
Yeah, with the budget, yeah. So I think some time passes, and Sean and Molly are tied up in the cabin as she's like talking to him, and she's just acting as if nothing out of the ordinary is going on. And Sean then puts 2 and 2 together as he figures out that Angela in this movie is the same one from the first, and he also mentions how her name was Peter. I think he insults her by calling her Peter, which I'm sure she didn't like. But to remind everyone, Sean, his dad was a cop who helped arrest Angela. I guess he was he was the guy that said watch your head and put her in the back of the police cruiser. But so this is where Angela explains that she's been rehabilitated. She went under intensive therapy in the mental hospital, electroshock, countless pills. She's got recommendations from doctors, psychiatrists, and even clergy, priests, rabbis, maybe even imams. We don't know. But yeah. So yeah, and this is it here. She also briefly mentions that she had an operation. So we could assume she's talking about sexual reassignment surgery. But I'm also thinking that could mean plastic surgery because again.
Well, the tip patrol got her, so like.
Right. I don't think she has boobs. That's the thing she was covering up. I think she's wearing that corset thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't.
So.
Good eye.
Oh, thanks. Seeing as also, like I said, she looks nothing like Felissa Rose, so I would work it in the movie and I would say she had plastic surgery too.
Sure. I mean, that is a convenient out for not having Felissa Rose.
Mm-hmm. So now that we're at the cabin, though, the cabin full of dead bodies, we can now talk about the Leatherface mask. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what's your theory?
Well, I specifically remember a blonde girl with her face completely gone. And I think that's Mare, because there's no other blonde girl besides Allie that died. Yeah. So that totally just popped in my head. Like, that's the girl whose face she was wearing. Maybe.
Interesting.
That's
Gosh,
That
I
might be
actually want to
right.
like Google a picture of that scene.
Oh, oh gosh.
not the weird scene where he's like, "Oh," she's like, "Oh, look, he's on TV."
Yeah.
It's in the TV.
Oh
It's
god,
weird.
that was the best. I loved that
It was
part.
good. It was
Yeah,
like so
she-
sarcastic. Like perfect.
She
the way
talks
she said
to
it.
yeah. She talks to the dead bodies like as if
Oh,
they're
are you
alive.
hungry?
Yeah. And then she says, even if you're sad, you gotta eat, Molly. It's good nutrition. And then she turns and says, "Right, Leah?" It's the girl she stabbed in the stomach. Oh yeah. Let's see. We jumped ahead a tiny bit. Let me clear that up. So this is actually where, right before that, Sean actually gets his head just like cut clean off in front of Molly, who screams, of course.
And that's how it ends up in the TV, right?
Yeah, right. It's Sean's head in the in the TV.
Look,
Just-
Sean's on TV.
That's the best line in the whole movie, I think.
Yeah, it's the funniest, and it's twisted too. Like she's like,
Like she's going ape shit.
Torturing-
right now.
yeah, she's torturing Molly. I mean, she's supposed to like Molly. Oh yeah, because she asked him, "How do you know about me?" And he said, "Oh, my dad helped arrest you." And then she cuts his head off. So
Well,
Molly escapes. Of course, they give chase, and Molly falls off a ledge. Angela seems sad, and then she just turns around and kind of walks away. Did anyone think she died from this?
No,
Molly, I mean,
I
Yeah.
didn't think there was a chance.
no.
no, because the way she walked away, I mean, it felt like it left it open. It was too obvious.
I think that was a little naive of Angela to assume Molly was dead.
Oh, you almost made it.
Hey, yeah. Spoilers: Molly wasn't dead. But then in the next scene, like Angela kills 5 people off screen. You just find them all dead. There's this female counselor, this other lady named Diana, who we barely see in the movie. She finds that Rob is hung with like panties sticking out of his mouth, and then the camp owner, I think, is stabbed in the chest with his hand cut off. The Tip Patrol kids, which is pretty bold for a 80s horror movie, their eyes are cut out and their throats are cut.
And you think that they're looking
And
through the
then-
window again.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And then
Because she's like, "Oh, what did I tell you about looking through the window?"
I know. So then Angela stabs her and twists the knife. She likes to twist the knives a lot. She does that a few times. Molly wakes up. She survived, and I guess literally everyone at the camp is dead. And Angela leaves, and she hitchhikes with this cowgirl lady, obnoxious, foul-mouthed country lady, and she immediately stabs her to death, basically just because.
So I thought that truck driver scene. Well, I know we're not quite talking about the very very end of the. Well, but I thought it kind of seemed reminiscent of, again, Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not exactly, because, well, that's not really how that went, but I think that they definitely played to that here as well. 'Cause, I mean, let's be clear, this movie was a love letter to horror movies in general, I believe, in a fucked up way.
Definitely. Truck driver lady, she gets killed, and
Welcome to seeing Jeannie.
oh,
to
yeah,
the
she's-
podcast.
Oh, jeez.
she's smoking, and Angela doesn't like that. Angela pretty much just kills this trucker lady. I think pretty much because she's smoking. She doesn't like her smoking in the car.
it's because she's
And
Republican.
she asks her to crack.
Yeah, I feel like Angela was just like finding any reason she could to just kill people at
Yeah.
this point. Like,
right.
like the bar was really high to start, and then it's just like, I just don't like you.
Yeah. That's definitely true. Yeah, like as the lady turns to roll down the window, she just stabs her. Next thing is Molly appears on the side of the road, walking out of the forest, and the same truck, I wonder who it is, drives up next to her and stops, and
And
Angela-
says, "Howdy, partner."
Wearing the lady's cowboy hat, and
The best part of the movie.
and it kind of like looks really cheesy as it like zooms in on Molly's face as she screams, and then
So
the
was this a better ending than Penis in part one?
end. No.
No, but I did like the ending. Like, I do think it was a good ending. Like, oh shit, sequel.
Oh,
yeah.
sure. Which, I mean, the sequel to this, or sorry, the third Sleepaway Camp movie came out the following year, if I'm correct.
It was shot
Which-
back to back. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? That's the perfect way to end the movie, knowing that there's another movie coming.
Then Molly's just like, should have just died.
I know what happened. I ain't gonna say anything.
Yeah, I got feeling we're going number 3 at some point, so I don't want to know.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of have to now. I honestly, we're watching all of them at this point. I think
I'm actually kind of
it's gonna-
curious. Like, I really kind of want to watch it now.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, and well, the one that I'm mostly interested in watching, and I don't know if
The
it's
newer
gonna
remake?
actually. No, there's the fourth one, which apparently has like a 1.2 rating on IMDb.
Oh my, does it have Gary Busey?
As a gingerbread
I,
man, we could only hope.
the fourth one is actually just footage taken from a canceled Sleepaway Camp 4 when the company called Double Helix Films, which produced the previous 3, they went under as
are
they were
there-
shooting Sleepaway Camp.
Are the rights up for
4.
grabs? Is that what you're saying? Can we make a movie?
But they like took the footage from that movie and like edited it together with footage from the first 3 to try and make a full movie. It's not really Sleepaway Camp 4, like, but I've seen I think you can watch the raw footage on YouTube.
Logan, can you take money out of your Lowe's pension for us to be able to make
How much?
Sleepaway
Sure.
Camp 4?
It's gonna be like we're gonna
It's-
dream
yeah.
book this. Like, it's gonna be.
Let's just do a
Amazing.
GoFundMe. I mean, why not?
We should, just for the hell of it, and see if there's any money that goes into it.
I could do a yeah.
If Brad can make GoFundMes for his trips to WrestleMania and E3, surely we can do this.
Yeah, just for fun. I mean, just
And
kind
we-
of see if anybody's like, "Hey, here's 25 cents."
I leave that in there about Brad.
He's not gonna listen to this anyway.
Yeah. Should we explain to the audience who Brad is?
No.
No.
Edit it out.
No. Don't edit it out. Let's just not explain who Brad is.
Yeah,
Brad knows
right.
who Brad is.
See, yeah, because they might look. There might be comments like next week. Who the fuck is Brad?
Yeah. Oh, hashtag who's Brad?
We need to put that
Okay,
when we
so-
post episodes too on Twitter. Who is Brad?
Yeah. I mean, like I could do. I know this like basic story to part 4. I could do a rundown, but then that would actually. spoil
No,
three,
I don't
so-
want to know.
No, we gotta watch this for the podcast. Let's be real.
I mean,
So,
basically, like a non-spoiler
Okay.
rundown for part 3 is Angela's alive. It's played by Pamela Springsteen, and there's more cap carnage. It's
All
very
right.
campy. It's very violent, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Howdy, partners.
Kind of what I expected.
And they do mention Molly. Spoilers. That's it.
cool.
They work
Um,
together.
Right. That would actually be cool. You guys think? 1 out of 10. What's your rating?
I went
Minus
7. I actually liked
5 stars.
Everyone literally talked at the same time. Logan, you go first.
it. 7. I really liked it. I was never bored other than like the random like filler scene.
Right. Yeah, I'm a 7 also. Nick?
5.9.
But it was funny, and I should mention this, that prior to watching this last night, I messaged Nick and was like, "Oh God, I'm not looking forward to watching this movie." because I hated the first one, and then like within the first 5 minutes, I loved it.
You know, I
Yeah.
also, I loved the first one, and I also was not really looking forward to this. It was a completely different experience, though, from the first movie. So, like, I don't know what I want to rate it, because, like, I'm so mixed on this, because it's not a good movie, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's cheesy.
But it kept me entertained, and that's
Right.
Oh, sure. It was, I mean, and this is I feel like this movie, and probably the one after this, is really just like sleepaway camp fan fiction. Like that, I honestly do think that's what this is.
I think of it as sleepaway camp, like in name only. To be honest, it could have been its own movie.
And I guess the reason
I don't
rated
think it could have, though.
And I guess the reason I rated it so high is just because, like, also I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. Like, I had very low expectations.
Yeah.
And, like, it was pleasantly good.
I like the gore. It has a really high body count, like, surprisingly. Like, it's like Jason level body count. So I think it was like 17 people, maybe? Or I thought were great. They're very 80s. You know. Pamela Springsteen was good to Rose. Very talkative. Can't buy her as Angela,
I mean,
though.
Felissa Rose's character was never supposed to be that talk. I mean, again, they were very. That's again. I think it was like fan fiction in the sense that like somebody just like this is what I would have liked to have seen out of, and you know, again, it was like a love letter to horror movies from the respective, including Jason and Freddy.
Yeah.
And Leatherface,
like fan service, kind of to slasher fans. I mean, yeah. They did.
Yeah,
also
there
make
was
an
a
effort.
lot of fan service in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Especially just based on the fact that they did Freddy, Jason, and Michael. Or sorry, not Michael, but Leatherface. It's like the third time I've done that tonight.
Well, I don't blame you because
you also literally kind of just repeated what I said, Nick.
Shut up.
He's reaffirming. The Leatherface actually does look like Michael Myers from afar. I thought that.
Oh yeah,
that
it's a
too
real
along-
bad Leatherface costume.
I think the best one is probably the Freddy Krueger.
Probably.
Yeah, the Jason mask looks nothing like that.
Well, I mean,
The
the
way it
hockey
does in this
mask is. I mean, it's kind of hard to fuck up the hockey mask, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it copyright at that point? I don't think so, or at all. I know they don't make like totally random tidbit. They actually don't make those types of hockey masks anymore. So they only live on with Jason. Yeah. Anyway, I was just gonna say they do make an effort to address that Angela used to be basically almost mute or really really shy in the first movie, and now she mentions how you can't get me to shut up. So they do like address that how she got out of her shell. It's a little half-assed, but it's there.
Right. I mean, I think that the therapy and everything that she went through kind of explains kind of how the transition, no pun intended, from the previous Angela to this Angela.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess if there's like sexual reassignment surgery, and I know we mentioned this in the first movie, were there also like hormones then? You know, because like, I mean, the transgender takes like hormones to be more, if you're male to female, I guess, to be more like feminine body. I mean, you know what I mean.
I do, but I don't know if this podcast is that podcast. So
well, I only mentioned that.
I know. I'm not trying to necessarily make light of that, but I like we have no real.
It was only because hang on, it was only because of my theory in the first movie was that Aunt Martha, because she was a doctor, she was able to get all hormones to make Angela take them. That's because then we can explain why Angela looks so damn feminine for being secretly a boy.
Well,
I
don't know if so.
I'm just wondering, were those available then? That's what I'm wondering.
I mean, probably. I don't know. But the thing that, why would they, unless like Angela wanted to be Angela or was like mutilated in some way that like really wasn't. But she wasn't mutilated because we like obviously saw like the whole shebang in the first movie. But like,
I'm thinking she just accepted it. She just decided I'll be a woman.
I guess, but like, I don't know, man. It doesn't really say a lot for the medical community in that particular region. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and that's not obviously a shot on any
No, we're walking.
orientation of any sort. Like, obviously, like
Touching
that's
ground,
just.
but, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense why that would be the way they go with that from a medical standpoint, unless it was her choice.
Well, we've already gone for an hour, so with that,
Thank you for tuning in.
good night, Iran.
Oh gosh, I'm not touching that one.
Hashtag not touching that. Next time,
Good night, campers.
We will be howdy, neighbor. We will be doing.
Howdy, partner.
What movie are we doing next?
The Langoliers.
Langoliers.
Are we doing the Langoliers or we?
No, we got one more show before that, don't we?
No, it is Langoliers.
Oh,
it's either that or we're. What are,
Oh my god!
all right, we'll edit it either to say Night of the Creeps or Langoliers. I don't know exactly what we're trying to do here.
Because it is right now. It's the 7th. We still have time until like my birthday week.
Fuck the New England Patriots.
Who are you talking to?
Well, see you next time.